Today we're making a ladder extension for this 35-foot Bennington twin 450s. Going for a fab ladder, not this junk they had on there from factory. Too many moving parts, too many things that can fail, not sturdy, handles are too low, not comfortable to get in and out of. We're also adding 2 power poles to this bracket as well. We're using the Rogue Fab Bender to make all our bends come out sweet. Now we just gotta see if the piece I measured once and cut twice fit. Not too shabby. It's pulled in. Yeah, I'll do it. This ladder to get our angle of our rungs instead of doing a oval hole or milling out an oval opening to get our degree that we need. We just did a 2-inch hole with an 1 5/8 tube in it. So we got a little bit of a gap that we're welding up. Put your filler in and just pulse back over it because this is anodized on a mill finish. It's all going to be sandblasted and powder coated. And it'll get welded all the way around in the front once we're done. that's it. Making some pretty good headway on the ladder for the Bennington. These will be the grab handles going up the side of the ladder. Got the rest for the ladder going against the center tune. That way it has something to sit on. That bar's in there just for support, so these don't want to pull in while we're putting some heat in it. Next, we're going to be making some brackets right in here for the power poles to mount to. The hard part with this is going to be the power poles have to be pinned and fold, because this has one of those big covers on the boat lift, and it just clears the top of the engine. And with the 10-foot poles, they are way taller than the engine. So, I mean, you really can't see. It's going to be a tight one. We'll make it work. Once you're done with that, you take it, hit it on the flap wheel, and it will look like it was off a machine. And you get it set up in there. Once you get done with that, it should look something like that. And it should, if my calculations are right, fit right in there like that. Not too bad. So the main part of this build right now, it's taking the most brain power, is making the power poles fold so that this thing is on the lift, has this huge shade that auto covers this thing, and it just clears the top of the motors. So with a 10-foot power pole, if it's standing up, it would never work. So I'm gonna try and make them fold in a way to where they stow roughly about where this one's at right now. That's not exactly where it's gonna be, but close to. It's only gonna be in that position when it's on the lift. So with that being said, come up with some sort of bracket that, of course, this will be to the power pole. This would be to the floor with backing plate. This is going to be braced, probably going 2 more ways, that way and that way, back to the ladder. It's coming up with a way to lock this thing in place to where it's solid. That's what we're messing with now. And then making, these hinges, it's only going to fold, back right about there. So we'll see how it goes. So far, this is what we got. Power pole in the stowed position. That would be the bracket. That would be locked in. It'd take quite a bit of bracing to make this thing solid. And also some sort of rest for it to sit in. It's not sitting on the actual seats. Headway at the folding power pole brackets, somewhat situated. So they'll be on a hand nut. You can undo. They'll rock back into the stow position. There'll be one more tube in there for some bracing. And then everything will be back plated, sandwiched, through bolted. After the last couple bars are in, for these, you need to figure out a stow position bracket to hold the power poles and then also not scratch them. And then the only thing left after that is a stay for the ladder when it's folded. And then we're done with this and on to the front part of the boat. Alright, it's off the boat. It's ready to get welded up. Something like that. back from powder coat, ladder, power pole brackets, power pole ladder bracket, all integrated as one, getting bolted on. Front railings that need a fold so the rear, well, front cleats are accessible. These are all going together. These will go on the bow of the boat. Give the owner some stability getting on and off from his dock. Some more videos here soon. Finishing up, getting our front railing in. It'll open so you can access outside cleats. Not that they'll be open or closed that often. And then moving to the stern of the rig. Connor's wrapping up the ladder, power poles. Got all our covers on the ladder. Power poles are in there, they're already wired, plumbed, ready to go. Almost done. The Bennington's almost a wrap. Didn't get much video and done. Just we're on a time crunch trying to get this thing out of here. Customer's picking it up today. Made these stainless pins, cable attachments. They'll be anchored in this 1 foot for the pin for the power poles to fold. That way no one drops them in the water. That's it. We'll get some videos of it outside. These are the railings on the front. This is more just a safety thing for the client, so he can get on and off his dock. They fold as well, so you have full access if you need to walk out on the bow. That's it. All right, we're all wrapped up. Got our pins on there with our little cables, that way no one can drop them in the water, so otherwise I'm sure it would happen. And there's that one up there. Yeah, these things are pretty solid. Not as solid as they are on the transom of a boat, but yet they fold. Only reason we made them fold is just for the boat cover, just because he likes to leave this thing covered up. Railings in the front all done. Folding power pole bracket, swim ladder. Everything's all plumbed, wired, ready to go. Power poles don't rest on the seats. These things flip up nice and easy. And go ahead and pin them once they're down in position. We just got a big hand nut for our latch on our ladder because we didn't want it rattling around. This isn't the slowest of pontoon boats, so we want everything to be as solid as possible. That's a wrap for this thing.